Alright, it looks like the stream is running, so this time I'm trying something a little bit different. Again, we are exploring the new map, Cold War Germany. We're going to be taking off from our base here at Obermelher and heading towards that town of Kassel there, but really we see the red line here. That's the border between east and west. There's an enemy position with a little bit of AAA on the other side. So we know that they have like a AAA on each side of the position. Some IFVs here, some tanks here. Some have already been hit, so we'll see some fires. There are going to be some fires at the border here again, just to help me navigate to make a clear path towards the target as we go there. But I do have waypoints because the SU-25 can follow waypoints, so we'll be doing that. So let's go try this. We're going to explore the map, but from the red side. Get to listen to cockpit communications in Russian, which I don't get to do very often. I haven't done much Russian since university, but it's kind of fun to hear it once in a while. And so if you don't understand the cockpit commands, it's perfectly normal. I probably won't understand half of it either. I forgot to check. Maybe there is a way to set the side instead of Russia as the USSR. I don't know. Oops. I just realized my wheels were up, so I'm gonna have to just restart this. It's just a quick thing about the switches being in the wrong position. So I guess from that image we know there's a Chinook somewhere. If we see it, maybe we'll try to shoot at it. But it's not the main mission. The main mission will be to hit the targets that we saw on the map. So this is my plane there. Since I'm flying alone, I guess I'll turn the lights off. There we go. So I've got my flaps on takeoff position. I have 2 guided rockets on the inside. Then I have the bigger S-13 rockets. Then I have some heat rockets in the bigger pods there, and the outside pods have regular HE rockets. And I do have 1 aphid if we do encounter air-to-air. So let's go fly to the runway and get ready for takeoff. I think the ATC actually works.
132 запуск. 1-3-2. Запуск разрешаю.
1-3-2, that's the part I understand. I know how to count in Russian.
132. Руление. 1-3-2. Разрешаю руление на полосу 1-2. 132. Взлет. 1-3-2. Взлет по готовности. Отход по схеме. На 300 по давлению. 7-3-6,4-1.
I set the clouds to give like a more gloomy, dark experience to this flight. See how it goes. I didn't want to put it like too dark, like late in the evening, because yeah, we're gonna take off.
1-3-2. Остановитесь. 1-3-2. Остановитесь.
He's telling me to hold position.
1-3-2. Остановитесь. 1-3-2. Остановитесь. 1-3-2. Остановитесь.
I hope it's not a sound loop that's gonna get stuck there. Okay, we're good. That would have been annoying. Okay, so we have to do a 180 from our airfield here, right there behind us, to get towards the targets. So as I was saying, I put a lot of cloud cover. I figured it would make it like look a little bit darker, give it a more gloomy atmosphere, but I didn't want to put it too late in the day so that I wouldn't see my ground targets. I've flown the SU-25T last weekend when it was the only plane I had available due to my internet connection problems. But the regular SU-25 here I haven't flown in a little while. So we'll get the flaps up like this, fly probably a little bit faster. And this is what the area that we're flying over looks like. This is our airfield there in the back. I like how this color of the camouflage seems to fit pretty well with the environment. So there we go. We see some smoke in the distance. As I said, I think that's the smoke at the border, but my IP is a little bit to the left of that, so we'll just follow the needles here. We can see that with the cloud cover it's pretty dark, but there are areas where there are clearings there close to that power plant. If we look on the other side here, it's very dark. Again, I could have put a little bit of rain if I wanted an extra challenge, but I just wanted to explore a little bit. So it's going to be a bit dark, I guess. Still, we'll get to see what we're doing. Speaking of which, let's turn the weapon systems on. I want to check which rockets I can arm. That looks good. We'll go with the ones on the inside pylons first because these are the guided ones. We will probably attack the AAA first. See how that goes. Then we have lots of rockets to lay waste on the enemy. Hopefully we can do some important damage. Alright, so we still have 17 clicks to go, so let's speed things up a bit just for entertainment purposes. So here again we'll look at a little bit at the scenery. You can see that there's an opening in the clouds, so we see a little bit more brighter colors in this area here, but in the distance where there's more clouds it gets pretty dark. Always kind of fun to have a little bit of atmosphere in the missions. That looks like it's our fires. Ah yeah, we can't use the mouse to point in the FC planes, but you can see there are some other fires there in the distance. Hopefully you can see it on the broadcast. So that's going to be the area where we're going. We're just about to pass the waypoint. It should switch automatically to the next one. Click, there we go. And so 17 miles or kilometers to our target. We'll start climbing. What I want to do is dive on the targets using my guided rockets. Those big ones there on the inside. climb towards the clouds as we enjoy the scenery. And we'll have a look down. Okay, so just want to have a look there where those fires are. You can see there are moving vehicles because there's a little bit of bright smoke there. So let's try to spot our AAAs. So I'll turn the laser on so that we can laser our targets. Okay, I think I see one next to the edge of the forest there to the left. So that's going to be my first target. There we go. Okay, we got it on fire. So we'll turn the laser off. Oh, I just saw something flying there. Is that our big helicopter? Yes, it's the big helicopter. I'm gonna switch to the air-to-air missile. See what we can do with that. Fox 2. Kaboom. I don't know if it was enough to shoot him down. And so we have an indication of smoke there. So we're gonna climb up again and try to go get the other AAA. I put the Vulcan AAA. I was hoping to see a bit more of a light show when I would show up, but when I practiced it earlier with brighter conditions, they didn't really shoot much at me, so I increased their skill level, but they're still not shooting much. Which is okay, because I kind of like surviving, but I also like a challenge. Okay, I think that's the other one in front here. So let's turn the laser on. Let's lock this position. Is that working? Oh, I'm on the wrong weapons. There. Ooh, yeah, that's too close, so I'm just gonna... I'm curious to see if he's gonna shoot. Yeah, he's shooting now. And he's hitting as well. So I think I just lost an engine because of some poor manipulation of the controls. And so my right engine, I think, is a goner. So we'll turn it off and try to fly back home on the remaining engine. Okay, so I wanted some action, but I think I got more than I had bargained for. So what we'll do here, just because we're in an emergency situation, we're just gonna jettison as much as we can because we want to be light to head back home. So I'll put my feet on the pedals to make the plane go straight, because we're just on the left engine now. Right engine engine got some pretty good damage. We can see lots of bullet holes. But we're still flying. Looks like the tail is quite damaged, so I don't think we'll have a chute if we want to land. Can't land at high speed, I guess. Alright, I hope my navigation system's working properly. I think we're heading in the right direction. We're heading east, right? Let's check. Yeah, we're heading towards the airfield. Hopefully there's no fuel leak that's gonna make my engines go pew 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 at the last moment. So yeah, I guess the Vulcan, it waits until you get really close and then it opens up and there's not much left of your airplane after that. I guess that was his tactic. The big helicopter is still there. So I guess I hit it, but I didn't destroy it. I wonder if it's like the Russian helicopters in game when you're shooting them as a target, they won't go down, but then if you're actually flying them yourself, one little hit and everything's on fire and you explode. So we're getting there. The waypoint I had set, I think, was for like the final. I don't know if we can see the waypoints. No, it doesn't seem like we can. Nope. No visible waypoints. I had set it like around here so that I could come back and land, but I think I'll just land straight in. So that's our airfield there. So I'm gonna get my air brakes out. I'm gonna call the airfield.
132. Возврат. 132. Следуйте курсом 319. Удаление 3. Давление 736. Запятая 41. Посадочное 1-2. Занимайте высоту круга.
Tavarish Commander, do you have like repair trucks ready at the airfield? Because I think we're going to need them. So here I'm just doing a few zigzags to lose speed.
132. Разрешите посадку. 132. Посадку разрешаю. Посадочная 1-2.
Gonna get my gears down. Ooh, they're not fully coming down. I'm gonna try to use gravity to help. It would appear I have a faulty landing gear. So let's get those air brakes back in, because I do want to have a little bit of thrust as I come in. Oh, the air brakes are in the stuck position. Everything's broken on my plane. It's probably not going to be a pretty one. I wonder if the partially down landing gear is gonna allow me to land smoothly. Here goes nothing. And now it's probably collapsed. Let's see if I can rudder it off the runway. I don't know. Yeah, I think we're gonna need the emergency cruise to get it off the runway. But hey, we made it back. So that means that if I want to finish off my targets, I have to take another plane. So what we'll do is we'll go to choose slot, take the observer slot, and then we're gonna go choose slot and take our plane again. There we go. We repaired it. They gave us a brand new one. So this, just checking my lights there. Lights are now off. Let's try this again. Got a full load of weapons now. It's a little bit difficult, a little bit more than High Command had told us to be working for the Soviet Empire. It's not easy. But we must do it for the glory of the motherland. Alright, enough joking around. Let's try to get this to target. I've noticed the runways, like for this one here, since I'm heavily loaded, it's just long enough to do the job it needs to do. And it seems that many of the runways in eastern and western Germany are fairly short. So you have to keep that in mind when you've got a big load on the plane. You're probably gonna need the whole runway. And so we are off again. I'm just gonna get on my correct bearing and then we'll speed things up a little bit. There we go. I just realized something. I'm not heading at all in the right direction. So I was heading in the opposite direction of where I needed to go. Instead of distance getting shorter, it was getting longer. So sorry about that. It's the old vintage equipment, you know. He's got arrows pointing in all the directions. Very hard to tell which one to follow. That's better. Just wanted to stabilize the plane. And now we're getting closer. Where's my border? Where's my smoke? Okay, it's there. It's probably just under my nose. Okay, there it is. So that's the border with the smoke right there, and then these other smokes and fires. It's our target area. So let's get the weaponry ready. We want the inboard pylons. So it's the one to the right that I want, the AAA. So let's get our laser on. Little green light is lit. I think it's there. There. Need to bring that about there. Then we need to maintain this and this. There, we can lower this a bit. Just wanted to make sure that my laser was in the right spot. That looks good. Kaboom. Okay, that's good. So now we've got one more guided weapon, and we've taken care of the two AAAs that were there. So the lines of trees that we see, there are some tanks hidden in there. So I'd like to use my last guided weapon to get a tank. So I see the laser needs to get cooled down. We'll let it cool down. Turn around and we'll try to see if we can spot one of the tanks or IFVs that they have. So I'll just pause the game for a second, show you on the map. We're here. This is the fire at the border. This is the enemy position. You've got some infantry near the woods there, some Marder IFVs there in that line of trees. Some tanks in that line of trees, so I'll see if I can get some of those or some of those. And there are some trucks there. These are, I think, the two moving trucks that we saw making smoke. So that gives us an idea there of what we have. And so with this view here, I have to spot some tanks. Well, and one of the tree lines there to the left of that little bridge in the center. So let's try that. So I'm going to climb, and then we'll dive towards the targets. So, zooming in, get the laser on. So I'm guessing it's that tree line over there that has the tanks, or is it that one? Even zoomed in at the maximum, I can't really tell. Is that a bush? Is that a tank? I think that might be a tank right here. Clock. I think it's a tank. Here goes nothing. Set something on fire. I think it's the trees that are on fire. Oh, the IFVs are shooting at me. Well, there is some fire. I don't know if it's the trees or if it's the tank himself. Not too sure. Okay. So now I've got the really big rockets there. I'm going to try the big rockets on the IFVs that just shot at me. I'll try to line up with the line of trees and send a few of those big rockets. I hope for the best. Where are the IFVs? I think there's one there. And another one there. Not too sure if I hit anything there. Yeah, he's moving away. Okay, well, near that big fire there, I know there's one moving away. And I have a radar that seems to be lighting me up. I don't know if the Vulcan came back to life for some reason. Okay, so I've got those rockets and those rockets. I think I'll go with those rockets, which are the heat rockets. I'll try to go for that same vehicle that got away. If I can spot the smoke again. There they are. Okay. We've got this, I think. Now he's in the field, so yeah, he's smoking. We'll see him a bit better. Not by a whole lot, but a little bit better. Well, I'm getting hit again. But this time we got the vehicle that we wanted to hit. So yeah, that AAA that I thought I had destroyed earlier just made a nice set of holes in us. So we're gonna have to go visit him again. But since I know where he is, I can probably shoot at him. I'm trying to see how many rockets I have of that type. Okay. So let's get our bearings and see if we can get to that AAA that's smoking there in the distance. It's probably going to be difficult to see in the live because YouTube sometimes blurs things, but you'll probably see it when I get closer to it. That's where he is now, there. Now we've switched to the other type of rockets. He's still shooting. He's still shooting. And I guess he's got us on fire again, so So fighting for the red side is very difficult, I guess, when you have some Vulcan AAAs in the area. There isn't much left on this plane. Look at that. My elevator has disappeared in parts. I've lost an engine again. I think the navigation system might still be working, but I'm not sure. Are we headed in the right direction? Let's see. That's the target. That's me. It looks like it's bringing me to my IP. Oh no, okay, the needle's pointing to the east. Let's put the nose in that direction and see if it's bringing us toward the base. Yeah, it is. Okay. So I'll do like I did earlier. I'll use my rudders and we'll limp back home. Hopefully live to fight another day, but with two SU-25s that need major repairs, I think that's going to be it for this pilot. At least we have some nice scenery to look, you know, as we head home. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause here. I'm curious to know if I killed my tank there. I don't think I did, or was it another one there? I think there might have been another one, so let's go check. So this is one of the tanks. I know there's one that was part of the scenery that was there already destroyed, but I think it's this one here, yeah. This one was the scenery tank. And this one here, this one, okay, I actually destroyed this one. So this is nice. And I destroyed this AAA. I got this Martyr IFV there. The other one is still hiding here. The trucks are merrily going around. I was hoping to just finish them off with guns or rockets. And then there's this guy here that just won't die. This is the guy that twice managed to hurt us. And on my second visit, I thought the guided rocket had killed him. But no. So yeah. The blue position is still quite well defended, I would say. Still have two tanks, Martyr, infantry, some trucks, and that Vulcan still going to be pesky for whoever tries to come in. So let's go try another emergency landing. If you're into these things, maybe you'll have a good laugh if I crash. And if I don't, maybe you can applaud the effort of trying to survive and make it back to base. I'm at 22 kilometers away and I don't really see the airfield yet. Again, the clouds hurt the visibility a little bit at a distance. Still not 100% sure I'm going in the right direction, but yeah, I am. Need to turn that way a little more. I don't know if I call the airfield, maybe they'll light up the lights for me.
132. Возврат. 132. Следуйте курсом 082. Удаление 8. Давление 736,41. Посадочное 1-2. Занимайте высоту круга.
Sorry, I'm trying to look at a lot of things at the same time. Yeah, I don't think I'm following the right Okay, there's the runway. Got the runway in view. That's, I guess it's some sort of a win. Oh, is that my engines failing? Oh, that sounds like it. Yeah, I think I'm out of fuel. So I'm gonna try to climb a little bit, and now we're gonna be a glider. I hope this thing can glide for a few clicks. Yeah, I feel it's not gonna make it all the way to the airfield, so I can either decide to try a belly landing in a few, or I can try an ejection. Those sandy areas there look like I could make a belly landing in there. I don't know. Still quite fast. I don't know if I can glide all the way to the airfield. We'll see. What I'm slightly afraid will happen is that I'm gonna lose all my momentum before I get there. And I think I'm gonna just go for a belly landing, because deploying the gear, I'm not sure if it's gonna come down or not. With the engines off, I don't know if I have hydraulics. I don't know if I can deploy the air brakes. Okay, they are deploying. Good to know. Let's try the gear. Let's try the flaps. Air brakes. Touchdown. I might have broken something there. Yeah. But we made it to the airfield. Alright. Well, it's 2 emergency landings. We brought the planes back, so we'll let the emergency crews repair them, and maybe they can be fighting in a few more days. So hopefully you enjoyed my little attempts at attacking the west. I think I'm gonna go back to fighting for the west side. I'm a little bit better usually when I go that way, but it still was fun to do that. And this what Cold War map allows us to do. It's to try some of those older planes and see what we can do with them. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Cool hand out. Just that.